Good morning, and we have Dr. Anil Joseph here. He is going to be the speaker of the day. Dr. Anil Joseph is the Managing Director of Geostructurals Private Limited, which is one of the leading geotechnical and structural consultancy based out of Cochin. He has an experience of building and designing more than 2,000 landmark projects in India and overseas. He has won the ICI UltraTech Award in the years 2012, 2017, and 2018 for his design excellence. He holds his directorship of Zecons Private Limited and the Engineers Diagnostic Center DEC, which are specialized in the geotechnical investigations and retrofittings. Dr. Anil Joseph is the National Executive Committee member of the Indian Geotechnical Society, IGS, and he represents the country in the International Technical Committee for Field Monitoring, the Instrumentation and Geomechanics, and in the Asian Technical Committee and Smart Observation Methods. He's a member of State Committee for the Institution of Engineers Civil Division and executive member for the Cochin Chapter. In addition, he served as the president of Association of Structural and Geotechnical Consultants, Kerala, vice chairman of Indian Concrete Institute, Kochi Chapter, past state president of Graduate Association of Civil Engineers, past president of Association of Piling Specialist, Kerala, executive committee member of Builders Association of India, Cochin Chapter, member of Association of Contracting Engineers, and an adjacent faculty of Albertian Institute of Science and Technology, Cochin. Dr. Anil Joseph is actively involved in various social activities such as Vice President of the Regional Sports Center, Kadavantara, Cochin, Assistant Governor of Rotary District 3201, Secretary, Joint Secretary of CanCure Foundation, etc. Well, we are very honored to have you, sir, here. And I would request Dr. Anil Joseph to take over the session. Thank you so much. And I welcome all the participants, all the registrants to avail the maximum benefit out of the session. Thank you, sir. Welcome, Dr. Anil Joseph.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you, Nebu, for that nice introduction. In fact, there is a slight change because our Vice Chairman, George Matthew, was supposed to do the introduction part. But then since we switched on, this technical slap happened because we switched on from webinar to the Zoom meeting platform to have more participants joining in. So this can accommodate up to 500 participants joining in. So that was why this delay in the start. But from next week onwards, the next session onwards, the program will start sharp at 11:30 and finish by 11:15, depending upon the interactive part. So apologize for the delayed start. And I'm not taking much time with the introduction. Would like to hear from each and every one of you. And along with me, we have Binex Kunyumon, who will be also looking into the technical part, and Ashita, who will be supporting from the faculty side to take care and to have the interactive learning process with you people. And in addition to the entire support of the team led by Jolly Varghese, the chairman of BAI Cochin Chapter, the youth wing chairman Joseph, secretary Sunil, and Varghese Jos will be there to support you in this course, which we are going to take you through. And let us together start this long journey, because engineering education is a long process and we have to learn it, and it's a education is a continuing process. And whenever we build, just like John Ruskin has pointed out, when we build, let us think that we build it forever. So that is, with that, I will just like to start up with my presentation, and I will be going for the screen share right now. So today will be the first session for the Quality Improvement Program for Engineers and Supervisors, organized by Builders Association of India, Cochin Center. This is the motto of the course. have seen the video, how the civil engineering has evolved over the last so many years. So I would like to quote Abraham Lincoln: to chop down a tree, if I have 6 hours, I will spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. The axe has to be sharpened in order to do that. So the training is a very essential part, and that is the intent of this course. So why engineers and supervisors? So they are responsible for planning and overseeing different construction efforts and apply civil engineering principles to ensure that the constructed structures are safe. They provide advice in the planning, coordination, and technical aspects of the project. They manage material and human resources throughout and are responsible for site security, health, and safety, essential to ensuring a project gets completed successfully and on time. Quality of construction primarily depends on frontline engineers and supervisors who properly execute it at site, and not on architects, structural engineers, or project managers. Your role resembles that of a commander in the battlefield. However good the plan in the paper is, if the execution fails, everything is gone. So you are the frontline warrior, and to know that you have to be trained, and to have good product, the training is essential. Is it important to train engineers and supervisors? Let's see this video. So if you want to be a lion, you must train with lions, according to Carlson Gracie. So the advantages of being part of this program, we would like to bring you some of the best faculties in the industry in the particular area, so that they will be sharing your knowledge and experience with you, so that you will be able to move forward in the industry. This course intends to sharpen engineering knowledge, dynamic problem solving skills, quality in construction, management skills, understanding of modern technology, tackling the site related safety and quality issues. So qualities of an engineer and supervisor, what are the important vital aspects? One is that how to act dynamically. They have to come up with innovative ways to solve the problems. According to Bill Gates, I choose a lazy person to do a hard job, because a lazy person will find an easy way to do it. So that is very essential in our field also, because we have to come up with innovative idea to come up with solutions to the problem which we have. It seems crazy, but at the end of the day, what matters is time and problem solving skill. Let's see this video. So I have seen this happening in many of our undrained compaction piling site where the reinforcement will be lowered down by doing the same process. So what additionally supervisors and our engineer needs to know to identify the common mistakes in site with detailed reasoning and rectification. So if a surgery fails, only one person dies, but if a building fails, 1,000 may die. So that's very essential. So here he can see it's a very common failure which happens is the shuttering failure in the industry, and including so many failures are happening, and we don't learn from failures and we allow the next failure to happen again. So we have to be very careful about that. So again, I would like to reiterate, if a doctors make a mistake, he can bury it in 6 feet, whereas a engineer makes a mistake, it is there for generations to see. So let us be very careful when we are doing that, and we play with lives of thousands of people. So you can see that the quality will, if not done properly, will lead to a lot of catastrophe in the future, including the leak, the crack formation, the column buckling, and so on and so forth. An engineer and supervisor needs to understand the nature of soil and finding its relationship with foundation and safety. So that is one thing which is very important, because whatever we are planning, it has to have a very strong foundation, and we as a site engineer or supervisor should have a proper understanding of the soil. So basic type and its relation with the type of foundation, importance of soil investigation, effect of water level, drainage on excavation, different phenomenon of soil behavior, all these needs to have a good concept, and we would like you people to learn these areas also when you are in charge at sites. So soil liquefaction is a very common problem which leads to a lot of catastrophe, and this occurs when a saturated or partially saturated soil substantially loses strength and stiffness in response to sudden change in stress condition. Material that is ordinarily as solid will behave like a liquid in this case. So we'll just see a small video where the soil liquefaction happens, and you can see that the entire building and the entire landlock is getting slided. So here the soil upheaving happening and the liquefaction happened. So all this we will be sharing professionals who will be able to share with you what are the reason and logic for this. And here this is from the Kobe, famous Kobe earthquake in Japan, where due to soil liquefaction, the entire buildings has overtoppled. And here you can see that all the seaward floats upward due to liquefaction. And this is what happened in Christchurch, the liquefaction process which is happening. An engineer and supervisors needs to have understand the role of architects, structural designer, project manager, plumbing consultants, electrical consultants, fire and safety consultants, etc. What is the difference between architect and engineer? Yes, they both build public or private structures, focus on the aesthetic principles of design in school. You will take more art-related class and fewer engineering and science-related courses, acquire the relevant certification in the field of architecture. Whereas an engineer build public or private structures with a focus on public structures, focus on science and engineering. You will take fewer art-related classes and learn a lot more engineering and physics than you would if you majored in architecture, acquired the relevant certification in the field of civil engineering. So we should have the capacity to understand architectural drawing, structural drawing, the basic ideas of the design which is needed to prevent major mishap from happening in the site, understanding the importance of steel and concrete, basic ideas of design of foundation beams and columns, and the understand drawings, basic idea of the structural design, importance of execution as per the drawings which is cited, so that we can prevent all this sort of buckling problem, these crack formations, etc. can be taken care of. And you have to understand and acquire the knowledge in the field of retrofitting methods and how to strengthen a damaged structure, treating the cause rather than the symptoms has to be worked out and the solutions have to be obtained. The waterproofing is another important problem which generally happens in our construction, and as a good engineer or technical supervisor at the site, you need to know what is the solution available for the problem and know the preparatory work, how much is the manpower estimate needed, how much is the machinery required, and what is the construction procedure. A good engineer and a site supervisor needs to know all about all these things, so that you have to be prepared for that. And we have to do the planning, how much engineers is needed, how much is the work needed, how is the force needed, and what are the equipments needed. Everything is there. It's like riding a bicycle. If the valve of the bicycle is maybe 8,000 rupees costly, if the valve, if the air valve is not there, which is available at a 5 rupees, the bicycle is not useful. So same is the concept. We have to plan very well, make planning, proper estimation of the employees has to be there, proper estimation of the equipments has to be there, and the time management also has to be put into position. And daily closure of work. We have to understand what is the daily output, cleaning and safe deposit of assets and assignment of work for next day. Recording any event affecting progress of work also has to be learned, which will be covering in the due course of this program. So this is the construction specification, inspection, welding, drawing revision, testing, meeting. A man at site, the man in charge at site has got so much of things to look into, and you have to make sure that everything is falling in place in order to get a proper, safe and durable structure made for the society. Inside of most modern technologies and material available in the world market, mostly we get grooved into one system and we won't be able to move from it to another area. So we also has to be careful in that, so that we have to keep on upgrading our knowledge, which is very essential. And I would like to bring that continuing engineering education process through this platform to all of you. So I would like to talk about few of that. There are n number of which we will be doing in detail, and we will be talking about what is happening in the industry in the world. And we would like to start off with self-healing concrete. Scientists are discovering the self-healing concrete which can automatically repair what is happening. And let us see what is happening in Qatar. So Qatar is coming up with these blue roads. that is that the temperature can be brought down by blue surface road. The temperature compared can come by 20 degrees Celsius, it can come down. So that's the research which is happening. And let us see what is happening in the thirsty concrete concept which is happening across the globe. Project planning and cost monitoring. So again, Dale Carnegie has pointed out that an hour of planning can save up to 10 hours of doing things. So proper concept regarding project planning and cost monitoring. So key elements of successful project planning are project objectives, deliverables and due dates, project schedule, roles and responsibilities, project budgeting, communication plan, and other relevant aspects which has to be taken into consideration when you have to plan the project properly and get it executed. Now, during the pandemic of this COVID, which is happening, what is happening? The construction industry is slowing down. Skilled manpower is becoming shortage. Job opportunity only for those who have good knowledge and skill. So this is the right time for us to improve upon our skill set and knowledge and make sure that we are quite equipped to take care of whatever the problem which is happening. There are two choices life gives every person. Either you sit sulk and dwell on how unfair life is to you, or you could try and figure out how to make the bad situation work in your favor. So expectation from this course are developing a skilled engineering group, which will in turn help our nation in proper building, and which will be a big boon to the BAI also, because the skill development will increase the productivity and output, equipping to have a broader perspective of construction fields, providing access to get consultation from the best people in the industry, developing an interest to discover the engineering. So this is about the course aspect and the other points which we will be covering in the due course in the next one year along with you. And today, as part of starting this, because most of the times we at site, we engineers feel that failure happens only in problem. So I would like to just introduce you a typical failure which happened in Cochin, which is a forensic study has been done, why the failure happened, how it happened, and what is the reason for that. And I will be taking to this case. It's a building which is right now coming up. So I'll be just covering it in the 6 subcuts in another 10 to 15 minutes time, that project details and location and what is the soil profile and all. So the project is a commercial building which is coming up at Kalur, Cochin, and we had 3 basements, ground and 8 floors for the building. B2, B1 and 7 and 8 floor are for the car parking, and the commercial is from basement and ground to 6 floors. And we had an excavation depth of about 9.5 meter. So this is the proposed site. Most of you are familiar with what it is. I don't want to name the project. So this is the area, and unless and until you share failure, you won't know. And failure is the stepping stone to get into your next level of knowledge. And whenever a failure happens, try to learn, get into the root cause of the problem, and try to understand what went wrong in the engineering, so that you will become a better skilled technical person as well as an engineer. So soil profile and initial construction. This is the soil profile of the area. The boreholes were taken in that locations, and this is that very soft. We had a field followed by very soft marine clay with very low value extending up to 14 to 15 meter depth. And based on the soil profile to transfer heavy loads, bored RCC DMC pipe extending up to depth of about 47 meter, terminating in the very dense sand with N greater than 100. with a minimum penetration of 2 meter was using M35 concrete was suggested. And since the depth of excavation was about 10 meter diameter, extending up to 30 meter depth with inside strutting supported on soldier piles of 600 mm diameter extending up to 30 meter were adopted as soil retention system to facilitate the excavation. So here you can see the section drawing where they have, and this is the two basements where we go down, and from the 10 meter depth the foundation will start coming in. So this is the plan of the touch pile systems which is there, and the shoring system which has been put into the design. And this was the typical section of the touch pile system with the reinforcement which was provided, and this is the soldier pile which was provided in between in order to transfer the loading and to provide support for the strutting system which was used for providing the lateral stability. The touch pile system comprised of 337 piles of 900 mm diameter going to a depth of 30 meter and 28 soldier piles of 600 mm diameter at a depth of 30 meter. Once the work is completed, the retaining wall is established and the slab is connected, these soldier piles will be removed. The touch pile system was designed as a propped cantilever to resist the lateral load to bring in economic on the project. Touch piles were done at the boundary by excavating trench of 900 mm width and 1.5 meter depth in line and level, and alternate piles were done initially and then in between piles were done. After completion of shoring work, excavation was done in 3 phases. During phase 1, excavation was carried up to 2 meter and strutting work supported on soldier piles were provided. In the phase 2, excavation was carried up to 6.5 meter, and in the third phase, excavation was planned up to 10 meter as directed by the structural consultant on record. Dewatering system was not suggested by the consultant considering the generally impervious nature of the marine clays in Kochi. So this is the work progress at the site. Here you can see this video, the work is happening there in full flow. So this is a few hours before the failure was happening. And what went wrong? So the work was going on, and by evening, when they reached 10 meter, there was a slight movement of the wall near to the roadside, and after soily water starts pouring into the lower layer below, and by 8 o'clock in the night, this is what happened.
Shut up!
So here you can see how the failure is happening. Due to the lateral thrust increasing, the touch piles has started moving from outside. The soldier pile which was supporting the strutting system started to cut off, and you can see the shearing happening. Here you can see the soldier piles getting sheared off, and which lead to the collapse. Thanks to the presence of mind of
Shut up!
Thanks to the, this is the story which deflection is at about 9.5 meter. A deflection of 20 mm was noticed. Then the deflection increased to 100 mm, and excavation was completely stopped and workers were evacuated. That was a good presence of mind shown by the site engineers at site. Otherwise, the minimum 30 to 40 people would have been buried below. So presence of mind helped the people to be evacuated. Further shift increased to about 200 mm by 8:30 p.m. along with some creaking sound, and water jets were noticed on the shoring wall. And moment water starts coming, the pressure suddenly starts jumping. And by 9:30 p.m., the shoring piles on the southern side came suddenly down, as we have seen in the video. So now the problem was there. We have to find out what was the reason. So here you can see the photograph which was taken later on because we have to come up with a solution how it has to be managed. So what happened was that immediately you can see all the equipment still buried below, and all this rendering was done immediately as part of the rectification process which was needed. So here you can see the myself present there giving guidelines to what has to be done. Here you can see the Kochi Metro running. The first collapse happened and second collapse happened. Luckily, during the night itself, the collector intervened. We were there. We were deputed to have a look into the matter. And we have asked them to refill the area where the collapse happened. And in the night itself, 40 to 50 loads of material were put in near the roads, which was given away. And by again 4:35, the second collapse happened. But luckily, we have refilled it back so that there was no damage happened to the metro pillars or piles, which was made in position. The water lines, electric lines, plumbing lines, and the foundation of these buildings was badly damaged due to the collapse of the retaining wall, which has happened. Now here you can see the positions, the photographs here. So this is the location, and here you can see how the strutting system has failed and the machine still buried below. Now, so this is what I have told. And cracks were noted at ground level in all the other three sides of the excavated area. Road with pavements of interlocking tiles have differential settlement. The public utilities such as road, traffic, electricity, and water supply were adversely affected by the collapse. It also resulted in temporary halt in the working of Kochi Metro, since the structure was located near to the metro station Kalur. Now, what are the steps to be taken? So, government has made a core committee, and I was being part of the committee to find a solution to the problem. So, we did rerouting of the public traffic. So, public traffic were rerouted, and we went for refilling of the excavated area, because this is a 10-meter fill. So, if it is allowed to rest like that, the further collapse is likely. So, the refilling was done. Emergency pass was taken from the government. We got a lot of materials being brought into and refilled up to 5-meter height, so that the earth pressure is balanced and there won't be further movement. 2 layers of sheet piles were provided to prevent further soil sliding, and they were tied together with a coffer dam system. And filling of inner side up to sheet pile level to counter the lateral forces was done. And core test and integrity test on pile was conducted in order to have the forensic study to understand what was the reason of the failure. And we have to have the road back in position. So if we go in for a system of conventional piling, it will take 28 days for curing period for the concrete to gain strength. If we go for a steel piling, again the corrosion will be a problem. So we looked into the nature and came up with the concept of going for coconut piles. And coconut piles were driven at the bottom to stabilize the soil, because soil has badly been affected. Over the top, we wanted to go for a geosynthetic gabion wall, but then to bring the gabion wall, it will take 2 to 3 weeks of time. So what happened? We made the innovation. We made a mesh, collected mesh from the market, stitched it into a gabion system, filled it with gravel. So, and the top was also laid, and the gabion wall was temporarily created. So that is what the engineers has to innovate to the situation. And over this, the combating and rebuilding was done, and we were able to reopen the road to the public traffic in 6 days' time. So that was the benefit of going for the coconut pile and other systems. And additional soil investigation test was also conducted in order to understand what was the reason of the failure. Here you can see that the refilling of the lateritic soil is happening in order to prevent the pressure. Here you can see that the retaining wall has been formed using double layer of sheet piling works connected stitched together to prevent further, and the V-poles were also provided in order to prevent the water getting more pressure distribution. Here you can see the V-poles provided, and here you can see the drainage layer was also formed. Water to be dissipated and has to be released so that no building of pressure won't happen. And concrete core tests were conducted, and it was found that the tests were all right. Pile integrity tests were conducted, and geodynamics from Bombay Baroda was brought in to do the testing. And from doing pile integrity test, we were able to identify at what location the pile failed and what was the reason for this collapse, which was taken into consideration. Only 10-meter depth excavation, we have 30-meter pile of 900 mm dia. So looking at on a general engineering sense, it cannot fail, but it has failed. So what is the reason for that? Additional soil investigation was carried out to understand the parametrics of soil strata, and we went back of the geotechnical and structural analysis of the touch pile system was carried out using Plaxis and STAT software to identify the cause of failure. And I'm making a long story short. In order to have the adequate analysis, what were the primary reason? The Association of Structural and Geotechnical Consultants were also being brought in to get opinion. Experts were called in. Inadequate strut system, soft soil, yielding of soil. So Cochin comprises a very soft clay. So they have assumed that only 10 meter of soil will fail, but actually the hinge point of formation moved into 15 meter, and that is where the collapse happened, because the pressure rise of WH cube, and since the H has increased tremendously, it went into the failure. High thrust from shoring pile, increase in unsupported length of pile, a second tier of strut system at a lower depth could have been helpful in retaining the touch pile system in position. So these were the suggestion. The team scrutinized all the approval documents needed for the project, and they were found in order. If adequate bracing system with higher sections and proper balanced geometry is adopted, the present touch piles installed can take up to lateral earth pressure due to excavation up to the proposed depth of 10 meter. Diagonal cross bracings, especially at the corners, have to be provided to bring in the required rigidity. It is also suggested that setback of touch pile system near the road to be increased to 4 meters so that the road and the public utility systems remains unaffected. Committee felt that the collapse of touch pile system of the building should serve as a wake-up call to the authorities and engineers in the construction industry. It is only sheer luck and presence of mind of the engineering team at site that there was no loss of human life. There was only one building close by, and it is just to be dismantled now. With workers in the excavated area and with buildings close by it, it would have been not just a failure but a major catastrophe. So forensic studies on failure always gives a deeper insight of the practical engineering issues while designing, planning and execution phase of a project, which when ignored will lead to the failures. These failures are always lessons for the future construction practices. The only place where success comes before work is in the dictionary, and you should be proud of your work and make sure that you are understanding the engineering logic, and moment you start getting into that, it becomes the addiction and the knowledge process goes on improving. Thank you very much all for listening, and now we will move on to the interactive session where you can ask questions. I know we have bit overshooted our time limits, but I tried to catch up with that. That is why I went into the engineering, too much of the engineering calculation. But then it's a wake-up call for you people to understand that this sort of failures do happen at site, which can have catastrophe effect. And now over to the team to take over, and any questions from the audience. And I think George Palal has joined in. I would like to get have a few words from him. Can you unmute and please join us? Nebu, can you make sure that George is joining in and giving his remarks? So the next 15 minutes will be open for interaction for everyone, and whoever in the team audience can answer that question. So it's not that only one person asks the question and the speaker has to answer that. It's a discussion forum where everybody can chip in for the next 15 minutes. And I would also like to thank civilians who are the sponsor of our session today. And they would also like to share some 10 minutes with you regarding what they want to communicate to you. But before that, we would like to have a 10 minutes interaction from the participants. Please unmute yourself. Nebu, can you unmute everyone? And before we move on to that, if George is there, yes, George is very much there. George, I would like to hear from you.
Yes, Anil, thank you. Actually, I am very sorry. I was not able to join on time. I had some technical issues. Anyway, you all have heard from Anil, and actually I was supposed to introduce him. He's actually a troubleshooter, or the master troubleshooter, or you can call him, he's a one-stop problem solver for most of us, not just for us all in this fraternity, but the government of Kerala or the district administration uses him extensively whenever there is an issue. Now, I don't think there is any point in like introducing him anymore. You all have heard from the master's mouth his vast experience in this field, and like actually we at BAI Cochin we're planning for online course sessions like this. We were planning for 5 or 6 sessions, and then we were undecided as to how to go about this. So we decided to get in touch with Anil. He was all excited and very enthusiastic, and that is how his passion and his willingness to share knowledge. That is how this session grew, was widened to a 24 long session program. So thank you, Anil. So that is it from me.
Thank you, George, for the nice words. Thank you. And over to the forum. Anyone of you can unmute and ask questions.
All the participants have the liberty to unmute themselves, yourself. Anybody has any questions, you please unmute and you can ask.
Can we give it to the civilians to do their session, and then we'll come back, because the primary purpose is that we should have interaction, and it has to be shared. The knowledge has to be shared. The problems has to be discussed, and we have to come up with solution. And as long, the only problem which I generally see in our engineering fraternity is that most of us are quite knowledgeable, quite capable of doing that, but we are very reluctant to ask questions, and ask questions. Then only we will have that interactive session coming in, and it will be fruitful, and there will be some carry home points which can be used by you in the site. And the language is not a problem. Whatever be the language you want to ask, we are flexible on that. We will definitely come out on that.
Hello, are you able to hear me, Anil Joseph?
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
This is Prasad Raju, your classmate, BE classmate.
Oh, yeah, Prasad. Very nice, very surprising that you have come and joined this session.
Yeah, very interesting and really great.
That is the power of Builders Association of India. Where are you right now?
In Tirupati.
Tirupati. Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice. You are working as a faculty there in Tirupati.
Yes.
Yeah, happy to see you in this forum.
Yeah.
Any questions
Anil,
you want to ask?
Yeah, Anil, that the problem was mainly due to the soil water, seawater intrusion, no? Seawater intrusion into the that place of digging.
Yeah, Raju, what happened was that they have, since it was a soft marine clay, they have thought that it was impermeable and there won't be much water pressure happening. But what happened, the soil became very soft when they went up to 10 meter, and the soil was soft up to 15 meter. But they have done the design only up to 10 meter. So what happened, the point of fixity moved from 10 meter to 15 meter. They have taken passive soil pressure below the 10 meter, which didn't came into play, and the sudden collapse happened. That was the major reason. Like you pointed out, water added more problems into that.
Yes.
Thank you, Raju, for the question. And very happy to hear your voice, maybe after 29 years when we left engineering college.
Yeah. I'm also very happy, glad to see you.
Yeah, surprised to hear your voice after so many years. Thank you, Raju. Thank you, Raju.
Thank you, Anil.
Anil sir, you have shown a video regarding the highways in Qatar.
Yeah.
But it showed blue line, this blue surface. It looks like very finished and very smooth. Is there any chance of skidding the vehicles or?
They have done a lot of trial studies on that, and they have found that to bring down temperature, it will be very useful. And the skidding aspect and the other part was also taken into consideration when they came with the surface formation of the road.
What was the material used for? Is it concrete?
And it is a specific type of painting over the surface, over the finished surface, in order to get that particular effect of reducing the heat and preventing the temperature going up.
Okay, thank you.
Any question from the site? Cherian, Matthew?
Anil, are you suggesting the government to go for this blue roads?
Which one?
Blue roads. Blue color roads you have shown, no? One video.
Yeah, that is in Qatar. They have, because of the high temperature in the Middle East, so they were planning to bring the temperature down by going for blue roads. So the work is in experimental process, which is happening right now in Qatar.
Okay, that's good. But in India also, temperature goes to 45-50 degrees in summer, no? So at those places, can India also can go for blue roads?
Yeah, that is the purpose of this seminar, where we can work it out. But the cost is a factor which we have to be taken into consideration. But then this sort of innovations are happening. The thirsty concrete which we have seen, because most of our Chennai and all gets flooded, even Cochin gets flooded. The thirsty concrete is coming up. So what will happen? The water will drain down. So that will be a big prevention in preventing the floods which is happening also. So those sort of innovations has to come in, and we all have to work together to get a better solution.
Okay, okay. So we have to go for this type of construction only at higher level roads.
Yeah, for the time being. But later on, there will be innovations, and we will be able to bring it down to our common practice.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Anil sir, on behalf of all the young engineers, aspiring engineers, the budding engineers, I would like to ask one doubt, because in our kind of scenario, at least not in India, at least not in Kerala. Actually, I have seen a project before the project is designed, before they start the design, a practice of a local area mapping is not been done. That is what actually I have observed from a couple of projects in and around Kerala. How important is to do this, to locate the public utilities like water pipe or KE, the power lines, or any other fatal lines running across the vicinity of the site?
It's a very important aspect. Unfortunately, our corporations and municipalities are not equipped for that, and we are paying the price for that. Now, whenever this metro is making an expansion, it's such a big hue and cry to find out where the surprises are there. I think I have seen Reggie and Saji in the group. They can vouch for that, how difficult for them is to find the services running, because they will be given some point to do the piling or get the route map they will be given, but no utilities are mapped properly. So it's a big important document, like which I was mentioning during the introduction part in the inaugural session, that importance of building structural audit, which is happening in Delhi, which is happening like that. We have to come up with a scheme for all our corporation and municipality to have understanding of the utility which is running. And Nebu, you will remember the problem which we faced in Pothi's collapse. So
yes,
what
sir.
happened?
Yes.
We were not knowing such huge pipelines were running. The entire electrical connection to the city was through that area, and it was such a big task for us to get it back on shape. So that sort of challenges are there, obviously, which has to be discussed and debated. And I have seen that as engineers, we are very good at burying our failures.
True, sir.
We don't want to expose them. We don't want to discuss and debate on that. Unless and until we discuss and debate on the failures, we won't be able to move forward. So like I told, failure, that is why I started with the failure case study. For us to understand, the failure is the learning curve, understand what went happen, and let us learn and move forward on that. Saji, can you just tell about your experience doing metro? What was the problem with all the lines buried below and the other aspects which you are having so much of difficulty in getting the details?
Anil, can you hear me?
Yeah, Saji. Yeah.
That while doing the metro work, actually the line was going through the empty road. And all the sewage lines was laid years before, and the corporation nobody was having any master plan where exactly it is running through. And we were given a plan at certain location we'll have to driven the pile. So while driving the sheet pile only, we came to understand that something underneath is there. So immediately we used to take that coordinate, take action to how to see that the particular obstruction is shifted. Many a time you can see a lot of big cable lines, water lines, sewage lines. So every location in MG Road we have quite a lot of problems, and we have spent more than 6 to 8 months just to shift that utilities to side shift to get it done. So it was a Herculean task doing the metro along that MG Road stretch.
Thank you very much, Saji, for the valuable data. And that is, Nebu, you have rightly pointed out, we need to, as a team, we need to be, what is our problem is that we always leave it to corporation or the district administration to do the thing. But unless and until we start contributing to them, they won't be able to improve. So as a team, we have to be there and make sure that the things are happening. I can see a budding young architect sitting here. Honorary, do you have any questions?
I will ask in coming sessions, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you, Honorary, for joining the session.
Anil, regarding that master plan of Kochi, Kochi Master Plan 2040 is preparing. I think BAI send your letter to your name, recommend your name to that committee. You just give a few words about that.
Yeah, because again, now the Kerala building rules as change is happening, the building regulations are moving, the master plans are coming. So what I would like, it's not that one man, as a team, we have to be there. Like thanks to Jolie and team, BAI is now venturing into all the activities where we have to raise our voice and concern. So we are representing in the 2040 master plan preparation, which is very much essential, and all this data accumulation needed, the development plan, everything, ask the engineering community, ask the builder community, ask the part of this construction industry. We have to be there along with them to make sure that things are happening in the way we want, and we have to raise our voices and make sure that we are heard, so that whatever is there in the future plan will be suitable for our society in large. And thank you, Jolie, for giving me the opportunity. And I would also like to appreciate Joseph George and Jaykrishnan, who was already participating in those meetings on behalf of BAI and taking it forward.
Yeah, participants, request because the meeting in the interruption. Next meeting onwards, I think we will clear it off. First thing is, keen interest. You should keenly attend the meeting. And you ask your questions. Questions doubt course it's a very valuable, it's a very effective tool to improve your quality in your industry, in your career. അതുകൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾ ഇതിനകത്ത് ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചുകൊണ്ട്, കാരണം ഇതിനകത്ത് വരുന്ന ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കുന്ന ആളുകൾ വളരെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള, വളരെ ഈ ഫീൽഡിൽ വളരെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള, മൾട്ടി ലെവൽ പല ഫീൽഡിലും വളരെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആളുകളാണ്. അപ്പൊ അവരോട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാൻ മേലാത്ത കാര്യങ്ങൾ അവരോട് ചോദിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കി അവരുടെ അറിവ് നിങ്ങളിലേക്ക് പകരാൻ പറ്റുള്ളൂ. അവർക്കറിയില്ല നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്തൊക്കെയാ അറിയാൻ മേലാതെന്ന്. നിങ്ങളെ ഫീൽഡിൽ നിങ്ങൾ എക്സ്പെർട്ട് ആയിരിക്കും. ബട്ട് എന്നാലും നമുക്കറിയാം, സപ്പോസ് നമുക്ക് ഓരോരുത്തർക്കും അറിയാൻ മേലാത്ത ഫീൽഡുകൾ ഉണ്ടാവും. അപ്പൊ ആ ഫീൽഡുകളിൽ എന്തൊക്കെയാണെന്ന് നിങ്ങൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കി നിങ്ങൾ ഈ എക്സ്പേർട്സിനോട് ചോദിച്ച് മനസ്സിലാക്കണം. എന്നാലാണ് ഈ ഒരു കോഴ്സ് കൊണ്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പ്രയോജനം കിട്ടുള്ളൂ. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് ഐ ഹോപ്പ് നെക്സ്റ്റ് മലയാളത്തിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കാം, ഇംഗ്ലീഷിലും ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ചോദിക്കാം. അതിനകത്തൊരു നാണക്കേടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ചമ്മല വിചാരിക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. അപ്പൊ അതുകൊണ്ട് യു ഷുഡ് ആസ്ക് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് and share the experience of our experts. Thank you all.
എൻ്റെ ഒരു കാഴ്ചപ്പാടിൽ നമ്മൾ ബേസിക്കലി നിങ്ങൾ ചോദിക്കുന്ന ചോദ്യത്തിന് നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇടയിൽ നിന്ന് തന്നെ ഉത്തരം വരണം. അതാണ് നമ്മളുടെ സക്സസ്. വേറെ എല്ലാവരും സ്റ്റാർട്ട് തിങ്കിങ് എന്താണ് സൊല്യൂഷൻ, നമ്മൾ തന്നെ ചോദിച്ച് നമ്മൾ തന്നെ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ച് നമ്മൾ തന്നെ ഒരു ടീം ആയാൽ നമുക്ക് അത് വിജയത്തിലേക്ക് ഡെഫിനറ്റ്ലി. അതാണ് ഈ പ്രോഗ്രാം കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. നേരത്തെ ജോർജ് മാത്യു പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ജോളി ഇത് സജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്തപ്പോൾ ആദ്യമേ ഞങ്ങൾ 2-3 സെഷനിൽ അവസാനിപ്പിക്കാന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചാണ്. അപ്പോഴാണ് ഞാൻ ഈ ഇന്ത്യയിലെ എഞ്ചിനീയേഴ്സ് ബില്ല് കൊണ്ടുവരാൻ വേണ്ടി ഞാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞ 10-20 കൊല്ലം അതിനു വേണ്ടി ഹാർഡ് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നു. അപ്പൊ അതിപ്പോ ഫൈനൽ സ്റ്റേജസിലാണ്. അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് ഇനി സൂപ്പർവൈസർ ഓൺ റെക്കോർഡും ആർക്കിടെക്ട് ഓൺ റെക്കോർഡും എഞ്ചിനീയർ ഓൺ റെക്കോർഡും അക്കൗണ്ടബിലിറ്റി വരും എല്ലാവർക്കും. സ്ട്രക്ചർ
മലയാളത്തിലായി ആരും മൈൻഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ലൊന്നും.
ഓക്കെ,
അതിനകത്ത് ആളുകള് പെട്ടെന്ന് സ്വിച്ച് ചെയ്തപ്പോ തന്നെ കുറച്ച് കംഫർട്ടബിൾ ആയെന്ന് തോന്നുന്നു. Basically, we have people from multiple language domains actually. So that is the reason why we were actually sticking to English so far. പക്ഷെ നിങ്ങൾ മലയാളത്തിലുള്ളവര് നിങ്ങൾ സംസാരിക്കാതിരിക്കാൻ വിഷമിക്കേണ്ട കാര്യമില്ല. നിങ്ങൾ ഡൗട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങൾ ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്യുക. ബീങ് എഞ്ചിനീയേഴ്സ്, നിങ്ങൾക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഒരു സമയത്ത് ചിലപ്പോൾ ഈ സാർ ഇന്ന് പോയിന്റ് ചെയ്ത പോലെയുള്ള പ്രോജക്ട്സിൽ കൂടെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പോകേണ്ടി വരും, ഫെയിലിയേഴ്സിലൂടെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് പോകേണ്ടി വരും. അപ്പോൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഇപ്പൊ കിട്ടുന്ന ഈ ഓപ്പർച്യൂണിറ്റി നിങ്ങൾ നന്നായിട്ട് യൂസ് ചെയ്യണം എന്നൊരു സജഷൻ ഉണ്ട്. നിങ്ങൾ അതിൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും നിങ്ങളുടെ മനസ്സിലൂടെ പോയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരുപാട് ഡൗട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടാവും. നിങ്ങൾ മലയാളമേ അറിയത്തുള്ളൂ എന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾ വിഷമിക്കേണ്ട കാര്യമൊന്നുമില്ല. നിങ്ങൾ ചോദിച്ചോളൂ, നിങ്ങൾ ഇന്ററാക്റ്റീവ് ആകൂ, നിങ്ങൾ ഓപ്പൺ ചെയ്യൂ നിങ്ങളെ തന്നെ.
Nibu, can we give to the sponsors to do the presentation? Kari po onne galai namak onnerikku wind up cheyanam. We might be only 15 minutes behind schedule akavuna vidathilanengil.
Okay, well, let us move on to our sponsors. Ms. Arya is here. Arya, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, you can go ahead with your presentation.
Okay, thank you, sir. So good afternoon, everyone. I am Arya. I am the Corporate Relations Officer from Team Civilians. First of all, I thank Construction Philosophy and Builders Association of India for this platform. So Civilians എന്ന ഞങ്ങളുടെ സ്ഥാപനത്തെ നിങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഇൻട്രൊഡ്യൂസ് ചെയ്യാനും നമ്മൾ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് തരുന്ന സർവീസസ് പരിചയപ്പെടുത്താനുമാണ് ഞാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. So basically, നമ്മുടെ സ്ഥാപനം is a center for civil engineering competitive exams. അതായത് സിവിൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗിൽ ITI, ഡിപ്ലോമ, BTech തുടങ്ങിയ ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷൻസ് ഉള്ള ഉദ്യോഗാർത്ഥികൾക്ക് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റിയ കോമ്പറ്റിറ്റീവ് എക്സാംസ്, അതായത് കേരള PSCയുടെ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ ഓവർസിയർ, SSC RRB തുടങ്ങിയവയുടെ ജൂനിയർ എഞ്ചിനീയർ എക്സാംസ്, ഗേറ്റ് സിവിലിന്റെ ഗേറ്റ് എക്സാം, പിന്നെ ISRO സയന്റിസ്റ്റ്, ടെക്നിക്കൽ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് തുടങ്ങിയ വേരിയസ് കോമ്പറ്റിറ്റീവ് എക്സാംസിന് ഇന്റൻസീവ് കോച്ചിങ് നൽകി വരുന്ന ഒരു സ്ഥാപനമാണ് ഞങ്ങളുടേത്. 2012 സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തത്. അപ്പോൾ ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്തായിരുന്നു. ഇപ്പോൾ മെയിൻ കോർപ്പറേറ്റ് ഓഫീസ് ട്രിവാൻഡ്രത്തും ആൻഡ് വി ഹാവ് ബ്രാഞ്ചസ് ഇൻ കൊല്ലം ആൻഡ് കൊച്ചി. സോ നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ നേട്ടം എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരുപാട് സിവിൽ എഞ്ചിനീയേഴ്സിന്റെ ഗവൺമെന്റ് ജോബ് എന്നുള്ളൊരു സ്വപ്നം ഞങ്ങളിലൂടെ സാക്ഷാത്കരിക്കാൻ സാധിച്ചു എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് 1000+ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ ഗവൺമെന്റ് സെക്ടറിലേക്ക് കോൺട്രിബ്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്യാൻ നമുക്ക് കഴിഞ്ഞു. And also we have the best team of dedicated faculty, and they are specialized in civil engineering competitive exams. And also the latest result parayanengil 2020 February March il vanna RRB junior engineer inde result il കേരളത്തിൽ നിന്ന് സെലക്ട് ആയ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിൽ ഏറ്റവും അധികം ഞങ്ങളുടെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ് ആയിരുന്നു എന്നുള്ളത് നമുക്ക് ഏറ്റവും വലിയൊരു നേട്ടമാണ്. ആൻഡ് ഇത്രയും നാൾ നമ്മൾ കൊടുത്തു വന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് ക്ലാസ് റൂം കോച്ചിങ് ആണ്. അതായത് PSC അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ, ഓവർസിയർ, ജൂനിയർ എഞ്ചിനീയർ, ഗേറ്റ് തുടങ്ങിയ എക്സാംസിനുള്ള ക്ലാസ് റൂം കോച്ചിങ് ആയിരുന്നു. ക്ലാസ് റൂം കോച്ചിങ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ നൽകിക്കൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത്. പക്ഷെ ഇന്നത്തെ ഒരു പാൻഡമിക് സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ നമുക്ക് നമ്മുടെ ഗവൺമെന്റ് പ്രോട്ടോക്കോളും അതുപോലെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന്റെ സേഫ്റ്റിയും കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് ക്ലാസ് റൂം കോച്ചിങ് നൽകുക എന്നുള്ളത് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടുള്ള കാര്യമാണ്. പക്ഷേ ഇനി വരാൻ പോകുന്ന എക്സാംസിലായാലും ഇപ്പൊ PSCയുടെ ആയാലും ഏതൊരു എക്സാമിൻ ആയാലും ഈ ഒരു അവസ്ഥയെ കൺസിഡർ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ട് എക്സാം പാറ്റേണിൽ ഒരു വ്യത്യാസമോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ടഫ്നെസ് ലെവലിലുള്ള ഡിഫറൻസോ ഒന്നും തന്നെ നമ്മൾ പ്രതീക്ഷിക്കേണ്ടതില്ല. അപ്പൊ ഇതിനു വേണ്ടി പ്രിപ്പയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു വിദ്യാർത്ഥിക്ക് ഒരിക്കലും ആ പ്രിപ്പറേഷൻ സ്റ്റോപ്പ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കില്ല. സോ ആ ഒരു സിറ്റുവേഷനിൽ എങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനെ ഹെൽപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം എന്നുള്ളൊരു ചിന്തയിൽ നിന്നാണ് നമുക്ക് നിങ്ങളിലേക്ക് നമ്മുടെ ഏറ്റവും പുതിയ സർവീസ് പരിചയപ്പെടുത്തുന്നത്. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ദ സിവിൽ ആപ്പ് ബൈ സിവിലിയൻസ്. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ദി ബെസ്റ്റ് ലേണിംഗ് ആപ്പ് ഫോർ സിവിൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിംഗ് കോമ്പറ്റിറ്റീവ് എക്സാംസ്. സോ ഞാൻ ചെറിയ വീഡിയോ കാണിക്കാം അബൌട്ട് ദ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഓഫ് അവർ ആപ്പ്. So as I said, it is the best online learning platform for civil engineering job aspirant. So civil engineering ഒരു ജോബ് ആസ്പയർ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഓരോരുത്തർക്കും വേണ്ടി സ്പെഷ്യലി ക്യൂറേറ്റ് ചെയ്ത ഒരു ആപ്പാണിത്. സോ ഇതിന്റെ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് ഇൻഡെപ്ത് ആയിട്ട് ഞാൻ പറയാം. എന്നാലും ഒരു ഓവർവ്യൂ ആയിട്ട് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഇറ്റ് കണ്ടെയ്ൻസ് അവർ പ്രീമിയം കോഴ്സസ്, ലൈവ് ക്ലാസ്സസ്, ടെസ്റ്റ് സീരീസ്, ക്വിസസ് ആൻഡ് മച്ച് മോർ. So as we said, it's like learn like never before. ഇതുവരെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ലാത്ത ഒരു കോച്ചിങ് അതാണ് ഞങ്ങൾ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് വാസ് ഒഫീഷ്യലി ഇനോഗറേറ്റഡ് 2 weeks back by the very respected Padma-Vibhushan Dr. G. Madhavan Nair, our former ISRO chairman. And ഇത് ഇനോഗറേഷന് ശേഷം അദ്ദേഹം എല്ലാ ജോബ് ആസ്പിറൻസും അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കേണ്ട ഒരു കാര്യങ്ങൾ പറ്റി ഒരു ഇൻഫോർമേറ്റീവ് മെസ്സേജ് തന്നെ തന്നിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതിന്റെ വീഡിയോ നമ്മുടെ യൂട്യൂബ് ചാനൽ അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ഇഫ് യു വിഷ് ടു പ്ലീസ് ചെക്ക് ദാറ്റ്. സോ ഞാൻ ഇനി ഈ ആപ്പിന്റെ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സിലേക്കാണ് ഞാൻ ഇൻഡെപ്ത് ആയിട്ട് പറയാൻ ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. സോ ദ മെയിൻ ഫീച്ചർ ഈസ് അവർ പ്രീമിയം കോഴ്സസ്. ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞല്ലോ ക്ലാസ് റൂം കോച്ചിങ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ നൽകിക്കൊണ്ടിരുന്നത്. സോ അതിന് ഒരുപടി മുകളിലുള്ള ടെക്നോളജി യൂസ് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടുള്ള classes for assistant engineer and overseer exams online. അതാണ് ഈ പ്രീമിയം കോഴ്സ് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. It will have recorded subject-wise classes from our faculty, and the main thing is that the concept will be explained in a very simple and precise manner with animated videos and illustrations and many such features. ഇനി ഓൺലൈൻ ക്ലാസ് നൽകുമ്പോൾ ഉള്ള ഒരു വിദ്യാർത്ഥി എന്നുള്ള നിലയിലുള്ള നമുക്ക് വരുന്ന ചിന്ത എങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ ഡൗട്ട് ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്യാന്നൊക്കെ ഉള്ളതാണ്. So we have doubt clearance sessions from our academic team, and ഓരോ സ്റ്റുഡന്റിന് there will be an dedicated support team to help them. And also frequent assessment tests will also be conducted so that നമ്മുടെ എങ്ങനെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ പെർഫോമൻസ് നമുക്ക് അനലൈസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും, which can increase our competency level. And also ടോപ്പർ മാർക്കുമായിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കമ്പയർ ചെയ്യാം, ലീഡർ ബോർഡ് സ്റ്റാറ്റിസ്റ്റിക്സ് വഴി നമ്മുടെ പെർഫോമൻസ് അനലൈസ് ചെയ്യാം. അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ് ആണ് ഈ പ്രീമിയം കോഴ്സസ് കൊണ്ട് ഉദ്ദേശിക്കുന്നത്. And the next major feature is our live classes. ഈ ലൈവ് ക്ലാസ്സസ് ഇപ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ കൊടുക്കുന്നത് അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ ആൻഡ് ഓവർസിയർ എക്സാംസിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള സബ്ജക്ട് വൈസ് ക്ലാസ്സസ് ആണ്. ആൻഡ് നൗ ദിസ് ഈസ് അബ്സല്യൂട്ട്ലി ഫ്രീ ഫോർ എവ്രി വൺ ടു ആക്സസ്. ഇവിടെ നമുക്ക് സൈൻ അപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് നമുക്ക് ഇത് നമ്മുടെ വീഡിയോസ് ലൈവായിട്ട് സ്ട്രീം ചെയ്യും, ആൻഡ് നമുക്ക് സൈൻ അപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കാണാൻ സാധിക്കും. ആൻഡ് ഓരോ ദിവസത്തെയും ലൈവ് ക്ലാസ്സസിന് ശേഷം അതിന്റെ റെക്കോർഡഡ് വേർഷൻസും അവൈലബിൾ ആയിരിക്കും. ആൻഡ് അവിടെയും ലൈവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഓൺബോർഡ് സപ്പോർട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആ ഒരു ഡിസ്കഷൻ സെഷനിൽ നമുക്ക് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ലൈവായിട്ട് തന്നെ അത് ക്ലിയർ ചെയ്യുകയും സപ്പോർട്ടും ഉണ്ടാവും. ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ ഓരോ ദിവസത്തെയും ക്ലാസ്സസിന് ശേഷം അതിനെ ബേസ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു അസസ്മെന്റ് ടെസ്റ്റും റിസൾട്ട് അനാലിറ്റിക്സും നമുക്ക് ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കും. ആൻഡ് ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് തിങ് ഈസ് ടെസ്റ്റ് സീരീസ്. So as the saying goes, like പ്രാക്ടീസ് മേക്സ് എ മാൻ പെർഫെക്റ്റ്. ഇപ്പൊ ഏതൊരു കോമ്പറ്റേറ്റീവ് എക്സാമും നമുക്ക് എക്സൽ ചെയ്യണമെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മാക്സിമം ആ ഒരു എക്സാമിന്റെ പാറ്റേണുമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ നല്ല പരിചയം വരിക, അത് മാക്സിമം പ്രാക്ടീസ് ആണ് നമുക്ക് വേണ്ടത്. സോ ആ ഒരു ഇത് മുന്നിൽ കണ്ടുകൊണ്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ടെസ്റ്റ് സീരീസ് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ഒരു എക്സാം ജൂനിയർ എഞ്ചിനീയർ എക്സാം ആണെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ എൻറ്റയർ സിലബസിനെ കവർ ചെയ്യുന്ന രീതിയിൽ അതേ പാറ്റേൺ സെയിം പാറ്റേണിൽ നമ്മൾ കോംപ്രഹെൻസീവ് ടെസ്റ്റ് സീരീസ് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നുണ്ട്. ഇതിൽ ഫ്രീക്വന്റ്ലി ആസ്ക്ഡ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും അതോടൊപ്പം നമ്മുടെ എമിനന്റ് അക്കാഡമിക് ടീമിന്റെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്നുള്ള ചോദ്യങ്ങളും എല്ലാം ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയാണ് ഈ ടെസ്റ്റ് സീരീസ് പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് വിൽ ഹാവ് ഡീറ്റെയിൽഡ് ആൻസേഴ്സ് വിത്ത് ഇല്ലസ്ട്രേഷൻസ്. ഓൾസോ ഇത് സബ്ജക്ട് വൈസ് ടെസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ 2-3 സബ്ജക്ട്സിന്റെ മിക്സ്ഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള ടെസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഫുൾ ലെങ്ത് ടെസ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ടോ എങ്ങനെ വേണമെങ്കിലും അവൈൽ ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കും. ആൻഡ് ഓൾസോ ഓരോ ടെസ്റ്റിന് ശേഷവും ഈച്ച് ടെസ്റ്റ് ക്യാൻ ബി ഡൺ മൾട്ടിപ്പിൾ നമ്പർ ഓഫ് ടൈംസ്. ആൻഡ് ഓരോ ടെസ്റ്റിന് ശേഷവും നമ്മുടെ ഡീറ്റെയിൽഡ് അനാലിറ്റിക്സ്, അതായത് നമ്മൾ എത്ര സമയം എടുത്തു അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ ആക്യുറസി, ഒരു ടോപ്പർ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആവറേജ് സ്കോററിന്റെ മാർക്കുമായിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കമ്പാരിസൺ, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള എല്ലാ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സും ഈ ടെസ്റ്റ് സീരീസിൽ ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ ഇന്നത്തെ ഒരു കാലഘട്ടത്തിൽ എല്ലാം ഒരു ഓൺലൈൻ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിലോട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഷിഫ്റ്റ് നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു കാലമാണ്. അപ്പോൾ PSC വരെ ഓൺലൈൻ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോമിലേക്ക് എക്സാം നടത്തുന്നതിനെ പറ്റി ചിന്ത നടക്കുന്ന കാലത്ത് ഇത് എന്തായാലും ഒരു വലിയ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് തന്നെ ആയിരിക്കും. ആൻഡ് ഇപ്പോ സിവിൽ ആപ്പില് മോക്ക് SSC ജൂനിയർ എഞ്ചിനീയറിന്റെ ഫ്രീ മോക്ക് ടെസ്റ്റ് അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ഇഫ് യു വിഷ് ടു നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കയറി അത് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കുന്നതാണ്. ആൻഡ് അതർ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സ്, ഈ സിവിൽ ആപ്പിലൂടെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് കിട്ടുന്ന അതർ ഫീച്ചേഴ്സിനെ പറ്റി പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ് തിങ് ഈസ് ലേൺ ത്രൂ ക്വിസ്. അതായത് നമ്മൾ ആഴ്ചയിൽ 3 ദിവസം സബ്ജക്ട് വൈസ് ക്വിസസ് ആണ് നടത്തുന്നത്. ഈ ക്വിസ് ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു ദിവസം ടോപ്പിക് പറയും, അതിന്റെ ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടൈം ലിമിറ്റിൽ നമുക്ക് ഈ ആപ്പിൽ ആ ക്വിസ് ഓപ്പൺ ആയിരിക്കും. നമുക്ക് കയറി അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്ത് ഒരു പെർട്ടിക്കുലർ ടൈം ലിമിറ്റിനുള്ളിൽ അത് സബ്മിറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. ആ ഒരു ടൈം ലിമിറ്റ് കഴിയുമ്പോൾ ക്വിസ് വിൽ ബി ക്ലോസ്ഡ്. അതിനുശേഷം അതിന്റെ വിന്നേഴ്സിനെ നമുക്ക് അറിയാൻ പറ്റും. നമ്മുടെ അതിനുശേഷമുള്ള ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസും അതിന്റെ ആൻസേഴ്സും നമുക്ക് അതിനുശേഷം പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. ആൻഡ് ദിസ് ഈസ് അൺഡൗട്ടഡ്ലി വൺ ഓഫ് ദ ബെസ്റ്റ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് ഓഫ് ലേണിംഗ്. കുറച്ച് നമ്പർ ഓഫ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസേ വരുന്നുള്ളെങ്കിലും ഇത് ഫ്രീക്വന്റ്ലി ചെയ്യും തോറും നമുക്ക് ഒരുപാട് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസുമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എക്സ്പോസ്ഡ് ആവും. നമുക്ക് ഒരുപാട് പുതിയ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള പരിചയം. ആൻഡ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ലൈക്ക് വൺ ഓഫ് ദി ബെസ്റ്റ് മെത്തേഡ്സ് ഓഫ് ലേണിംഗ്. അതാണ് ക്വിസ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. രണ്ടാമത്തത് ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പർ ഫീഡാണ്. ഈ കോളത്തില് ഒരു സിവിൽ എഞ്ചിനീയർ സംബന്ധിച്ചിടത്തോളം നമ്മുടെ മേഖലയിലെ പുതിയ ന്യൂസ്, പുതിയ അപ്ഡേറ്റ്സും ഇതെല്ലാം ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതാണ് ഈ കോളം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. അതായത് ഇപ്പോൾ എന്തെങ്കിലും ട്രെയിനിങ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പ്രൈവറ്റ് മേഖലയിൽ നടക്കുന്ന എന്തെങ്കിലും ന്യൂസ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ PSCയെ സംബന്ധിച്ചുള്ള നിയമനവും അതുമായിട്ട് സംബന്ധിച്ച് എന്തെങ്കിലും ന്യൂസ്, ഈ വക കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ഉൾപ്പെടുത്തിയതാണ് ഈ ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പർ ഫീഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. ആൻഡ് മൂന്നാമത്തെയാണ് ദ മോസ്റ്റ് ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ് തിങ്, ജോബ് നോട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻ ആൻഡ് ജോബ് അലേർട്ട്സ്. നമുക്ക് എപ്പോഴും ഒരു ഉദ്യോഗാർത്ഥിക്ക് എപ്പോഴും പറ്റിപ്പോകുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ് ജോബല്ല. നമ്മൾ അറിയാതെ പോകും, എന്തെങ്കിലും നോട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻ വന്നു അറിയാതെ പോകുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ലാസ്റ്റ് ഡേറ്റ് വിട്ടുപോകുന്നു, അങ്ങനെയുള്ള കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെ. ഇപ്പൊ ജോബ് നോട്ടിഫിക്കേഷനും വേക്കൻസി അലേർട്ടും വളരെ കൃത്യമായിട്ട് നമ്മുടെ ഈ ആപ്പ് വഴി നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിയാൻ സാധിക്കും. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഏത് സമയവും ആക്സസ് ചെയ്ത് ഇത് നമുക്ക് നോക്കാനും പറ്റും. ഇനി നമ്മൾ ഇത് ഗൂഗിൾ പ്ലേ സ്റ്റോറിലും അതുപോലെ ആപ്പ് സ്റ്റോറിലും അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ആൻഡ് ദ ബിഗസ്റ്റ് തിങ് ഇസ് ദാറ്റ് നമ്മുടെ ലൈവ് ക്ലാസ്സസ്, ക്വിസസ്, ന്യൂസ് പേപ്പർ ഫീഡ്, നോട്ടിഫിക്കേഷൻസ്, ഇതെല്ലാം ഇറ്റ്സ് ലൈക്ക് നൗ ആബ്സല്യൂട്ട്ലി ഫ്രീ ഫോർ എവരി വൺ. ആർക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിലും അത് ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യാം, ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യാം, ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യാം, ക്വിസ് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാം, ഫ്രീ മോക്ക് ടെസ്റ്റ് അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇത് എല്ലാവർക്കും ഇത് ഓപ്പൺ ആണെന്നുള്ളതാണ്. Okay, the next thing is regarding our publications. So civil engineering competitive exams in prepare ചെയ്യുന്നവർക്ക് they help ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി നമ്മളുടെ ഭാഗത്തു നിന്നുള്ള കുറച്ച് പബ്ലിക്കേഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. ലൈക്ക് ITI ഡിപ്ലോമ ലെവൽ എക്സാംസിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പേഴ്സ് വിത്ത് സൊല്യൂഷൻസിന്റെ ഒരു ബുക്ക്, പിന്നെ ISRO എക്സാംസിന്റെ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് എഞ്ചിനീയർ എക്സാംസിന്റെ പ്രീവിയസ് ഇയർ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പർ, സോൾവ്ഡ് ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ പേപ്പേഴ്സ് ഉള്ള ബുക്ക്, അതുപോലെ ഒരു സിവിൽ എഞ്ചിനീയറിന് വേണ്ടിയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ക്വിക്ക് റെഫറൻസ് ഗൈഡ്, അങ്ങനെ ഒരുപാട് ബുക്സ്, ഒരുപാട് പബ്ലിക്കേഷൻസ് നമ്മുടെ ഭാഗത്തുണ്ട്. ഇത് ആമസോണിലും ഫ്ലിപ്കാർട്ടിലും അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നമ്മുടെ സൈറ്റിൽ കയറി സിവിലിയൻ സ്റ്റോർ വഴിയും നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ആക്സസ് ചെയ്യാൻ സാധിക്കും. Also how to connect with stay connected with us. നമ്മൾ എല്ലാ സിവിലിയൻസ് എല്ലാ സോഷ്യൽ മീഡിയ പ്ലാറ്റ്ഫോംസിലും അവൈലബിൾ ആണ്. ഫേസ്ബുക്ക്, ഇൻസ്റ്റഗ്രാം, ടെലിഗ്രാം, വാട്സാപ്പ് ഗ്രൂപ്പുകളുണ്ട്. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് ജസ്റ്റ് റെസ്ട്രിക്റ്റഡ് ഫോർ അവർ സ്റ്റുഡൻസ്. Everyone who wish to join can join in our WhatsApp groups. And also civilians in a dedicated YouTube channel on where we put videos regarding civil engineering related videos. In the live classes in the recorded versions, idellam share in oru YouTube channel undu. And you can if you wish you can take a look at it. And also feel free to call us on these numbers so that our PR team can help you anytime. And also finally thank you for your valuable time, for spending your valuable time with us. Please visit our website www.civilians.in for more details, or just call us. We are just one call away. Just call us and we can help you that way. So these are some testimonials from our students. Recently junior engineer RRB junior engineer exam inde result junior engineer aayittu niyamanam nadanna students indeyum allada overseer exams ilokke niyamanam nadanna vidyarthiകളുടെ testimonials aanu. You can take a look at it. And thank you, and I wish all success for the training program. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Arya. Thank you for the beautiful presentation of a wonderful venture.
Thank you, sir.
Every aspirants can get in touch with them for any clarifications. You have civilians institutions number with you now. And I would thank Dr. Anil Joseph for his wonderful presentation on a very important fact that every civil engineer have to bear in mind. The session that he has addressed here, the failure that he has addressed here was one of the biggest failure that has happened in the central Kerala. Fortunately or unfortunately, I was also associated with that project, and I have learned a lot from that project, from the rectification method that Dr. Anil Joseph and his team had carried out in that project was really an eye-opener, I should say. Every civil engineer has to go through some way or the other has to go through such kind of scenarios, and every failure is a stepping stone towards success. Dr. Anil Joseph, thank you so much. And I wish every participant has taken the maximum advantage of his session. And please stay in touch with the Builders Association of India, Cochin Chapter, for further clarifications and further information with regarding to the session that you have attended today. And I request Anil Joseph, Dr. Anil Joseph, for his final words. Dr. Anil Joseph, please.
Thank you all for who have participated in this talk. And on behalf of Builders Association of India, I would like to thank everyone who have participated in the session. And I wish that all of you come up more openly, because this is only the beginning of the session. We will be there next 1 year with you. And as the demand increases, we will have more interactive sessions. It is not the number of classes that matters, but interaction, knowledge sharing. So we have dedicated our 2 to 3 hours a month exclusively for this program. So we will be more than happy if you have questions to ask us, and we hope that as a platform we will be moving forward and help in disseminating the knowledge. I would also like to thank our channel partner Construction Philosophy, Nebu and to be with us. And even though we have a bit of few technical snack today, we will try to correct. And this is the time of change and invention which is happening, and we are all switching into new platform. And I would like to appreciate ARIA, the civilians team who have done the sponsorship, and ARIA for her wonderful presentation today. And thank you all. Together we can make a change. And once again, I would like to finally thank our chairman, Jolly Varghese, for giving me the opportunity to conduct this session. Thanks a lot. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Anil Joseph. Thank you all the participants. And we will meet up, we'll catch up at the next session on 21st of this month. We will try our best to rectify all the technical snags that happened today. This is a learning process for all of us, even to us as well. And please stay in touch. Please follow us on Facebook. We have a Facebook page in the name of Construction Philosophy. We request all of you to please like the page and follow the page, so that you can all be updated about the latest happenings in the industry. Thank you so much. See you next time.